Tonight, News Channel 5 investigates a lawmaker's $10,000 contribution and a resolution he introduced in the legislature.
It's a strange piece of legislation that's reviving questions about foreign influences on Tennessee's Capitol Hill. Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, had lots of questions for the lawmaker.
Last year, News Channel 5 Investigates first revealed how advocates for foreign countries were taking your lawmakers on expensive junkets. Now we've discovered a case of mysterious donors handing out money for a legislative campaign.
To put an end to this shenanigan going on in this.
During a hurried legislative session,
I move House Bill 1129 back to full education.
Dominated by all sorts of contentious issues.
Representative Towns, you're recognized.
State Representative Joe Towns found time to introduce a House resolution calling for national support for the country of Azerbaijan.
Well, let me tell you where it came from. Actually, it came from friends that I know that are from Azerbaijan.
A nation of 9 million people.
An oil-rich, predominantly Muslim country where Eastern Europe meets Western Asia, Azerbaijan has been involved in a decades-old dispute with the predominantly Christian country of Armenia over territory that both countries claim. The Memphis Democrat says he agreed to introduce the resolution because Azerbaijan is a U.S. ally. So you did not just come up with this on your own?
No.
And you knew nothing about the conflict between these two countries?
I did not.
Those brutal people, they're trying to change history by going around different states in the United States, passing resolution.
Barry Barsumian is an Armenian immigrant who discovered Towns' resolution and could not believe anyone would ask a Tennessee lawmaker to help a country known for its human rights abuses and whose leader is seen as one of the world's most corrupt.
I asked him if it was Azerbaijani embassy. He denied it, but he wouldn't name or tell me what organization was behind it.
But we looked at Joe Towns' campaign reports and discovered he introduced the resolution just 2 weeks after he got $10,000 in campaign contributions from people out of Texas with ties to the Azerbaijani community.
This was probably in Texas, Houston. Okay.
You had a fundraiser in Houston?
I've had fundraisers in other places before. That's true. Yeah.
Who hosted that fundraiser?
Well, my friends of mine.
Who in particular?
Well, I don't want to get involved in their names and things because this is about me. I don't want to talk about their names and who they were.
Still, our investigation discovered that this Turkish-Azerbaijani cultural center in Houston appears to be the common connection for all 7 of the contributors who reportedly gave either $1,000 or $1,500 each to Towns' campaign. Did the people who gave you the $10,000 ask you to introduce this resolution?
No, they didn't. Did not.
It's purely coincidental?
Oh, of course, yeah. But no, they did not, no.
It is very suspicious. Somebody in Tennessee would introduce a bill for Azerbaijan and then those organizations funneling money to his campaign.
One of the contributors listed on Towns' campaign report as having given $1,000 first told us, "That's wrong information. I don't know anyone from Tennessee." Later saying, "I remember something like that. I never met him. I did it through my friends, my community." Adding to the mystery, almost a third of the money supposedly came from 2 people who live in these apartments in one of Houston's roughest neighborhoods. In fact, we identified $13,000 in contributions in the last 2 years to various candidates around the country from just one low-rent apartment. So we went back to Representative Towns. Does that strike you as odd?
Well, see, in order for me to know that, I would have to know the lay of the land down there, the people. I don't know.
Next up, item number 29, House Bill 20.
But when Towns' resolution came up in committee, members of the Armenian community had already lobbied other lawmakers to kill the bill.
Is there a second? Seeing none, the bill fails.
The resolution never even got a vote, a strange end to what some consider a strange piece of legislation. You attend a fundraiser and then suddenly you're introducing this resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand why someone might be suspicious?
Well, in politics, you always have suspicion. That's what people do. I can't deal with people's suspicion. I don't address their suspicion. But the fact of it is that it happens all the time.
Now, some of these contributors appear to have connection to those groups who have taken Tennessee officials on free trips to Turkey and Azerbaijan. Representative Towns was supposed to go on one of those trips last year, but he said he was not able to go. Still, he did sponsor another House resolution that essentially accused Armenia of war crimes. And Vicki, That actually passed the House on a 93-0 vote.
So why would Azerbaijan care about what the Tennessee House thinks?
Well, this appears to be part of an orchestrated PR campaign to show that the world, in its opinion, is on their side. Representative Towns says he hopes it leads to better understanding of all of the countries in that region.
Okay, thanks, Phil. And Phil's got more. Why did a high state official congratulate a foreign president on an election that many believe was rigged? News Channel 5 investigates tomorrow night at 6.
Congratulations on your rigged election. That's the message that critics say a member of Governor Haslam's cabinet sent with his letter to a former president.
That letter was uncovered by News Channel 5 Investigates, and Phil Williams went looking for some answers.
Azerbaijan sits on Iran's northern border. Last night, we first told you about how a Memphis lawmaker got $10,000 in campaign contributions from people in Texas who were from Azerbaijan. Then he turned around and introduced legislation in support of the country. Now we've turned up a letter sent last year to the president of Azerbaijan from one of Haslam's top commissioners.
President of Azerbaijan has just been reelected. Election officials announced the winner one day before anybody actually voted.
Few people took last fall's Azerbaijani presidential election seriously.
It looks like the result was already decided before the voters went to the polls.
The re-election of Ilham Aliyev, who took over from his father a decade ago, was widely seen by the international community as rigged. Still, that did not stop Tennessee's Commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security from sending this letter on official stationery to Aliyev, offering a hearty congratulations on your re-election.
That was a fake election. That wasn't real election.
Barry Barsumian is an Armenian activist who says a cursory search of the internet would have revealed news reports about how Aliyev was suppressing his opposition.
Many public sector workers were given ballot papers that had already been filled in.
And last year, watchdog groups called him the Corruption Person of the Year.
That should be a shame. That high official in Tennessee with that kind of position, he cannot find out on internet how brutal he is. That is unbelievable.
Any regrets about writing that letter?
No regrets.
Commissioner Bill Gibbons says he wrote the letter of congratulations at the request of a Memphis city official who's interested in a role for Azerbaijan at the annual Memphis in May festival, which honors a different country each year.
I did it as a result of that request.
Did you consider that to be a real election?
Oh, I can't really comment on the politics of Azerbaijan.
But Gibbons and an assistant commissioner had joined a group of lawmakers last year in accepting a junket to Turkey and Azerbaijan, claiming they needed to learn more about the two countries to do their jobs. That trip was financed by groups with ties to the moderate Muslim cleric Fethullah Gulen.
Just from a strategic and national security standpoint, it's an important country to us.
Did you learn that elections are really not free there?
I can't really comment on the elections in Azerbaijan.
While the U.S. State Department criticized Azerbaijan for its suppression of dissent and stuffing of ballot boxes, Aliyev has posted on his official website letters of congratulations for his confident victory, including the one from Gibbons. Still, the commissioner doesn't see a problem. So you would write the letter tomorrow if asked to do that?
Sure. If Memphis in May wanted me to write a letter to honor any number of countries that may not have perfect democracies, I would do that.
Next, if Al-Qaeda come up here, take them to a trip, are they going to do the same thing?
But Barsumian says the commissioner's trip and his letter of congratulations is more proof about how foreign interests are trying to buy respectability from Tennessee officials.
They're trying to buy respect with money and hide their uncivilized way of government.
Now, the U.S. State Department put out a statement saying that Azerbaijan's presidential election was marred by ballot box stuffing, serious problems with vote counting, that authorities interfered with the media, they violently interrupted peaceful rallies, they even jailed opposition figures. Commissioner Gibbons says he doesn't dispute any of that, but he still sees nothing wrong with sending the president a letter of congratulations on that re-election.
So what did he learn on this free trip?
Well, he said he'd learned that Azerbaijan is an important U.S. ally despite all of those shortcomings.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Now, if you want to see the commissioner's letter plus the statement from the U.S. State Department, Phil's got those on our website, newschannel5.com.